Okay, welcome back to Callum's Knowledge. I'm now on the final task, task 6, which is the final task in the Python for Accounting portfolio. If you made it this far, you should be very proud. I mean, you've already tackled variables, data types, lists, loops, and then we're finishing this off strong with functions. Today we're going to use Python to calculate something every accountant deals with, which is VAT, which is value added tax. So now, rather than writing the same VAT formula multiple times, I'm going to wrap it inside a function. Think of it like a little machine. You give it some input and it runs a calculation and it gives you back an output. Once you've built a machine, you can use it over and over again with different inputs. No repetition, no copy and pasting, just clean, reusable code. So we've created a function called calculate_VAT. And this takes two values. The amount, that's the price of your item or service, and the VAT rate. And we've set the VAT rate to 20%, which is standard in the UK, but this is flexible if you ever need to use a different rate, like 5% or 15%. You can just pass it in whenever you need the function. Now, inside the function, we multiply the amount by the VAT rate. That gives us the VAT, which we then return using the return keyword. This means the value gets sent back to wherever the function was called, so we can use it later in the program. We've also included a docstring, that's the bit in triple quotes, just under the function definition. It explains what the function does, what its inputs are, and what it returns. It's kind of like a mini user manual for the function. It's really good practice to include this, especially if someone else, like a colleague or even future you, might need to know this to understand what the function does. Now, before we move on to testing the function, let's take a moment to appreciate what we've built. In just a few lines, we've created a fully flexible, fully reusable tool for calculating VAT. This could be used on invoices, receipts, sales systems, and anything we need to break down the VAT component from a price. Okay, now that we've got our function, let's test it out. We're going to put in a list of example amounts, and we'll put in, let's say, £100, £250, and £1,000. And these are going to be our sample prices, like items on a receipt or service in a bill. As we see here, 100, 250 and 1000. Remember to use the correct brackets. And all these values will be in Great British Pounds, since again we're working in the UK. This is obviously going to look through each amount on the list and calculate the VAT and print the result. So, once we have the VAT value, we print it out alongside the original price. And this will be using a f-string. This lets us keep the formatting nice and clean, and we round the numbers to 2 decimal places, just like you'd expect to see on a real invoice. Now, if we run this script, it should look like the original amount, which is 100, the VAT should be £20, original amount 250, and the VAT would be 50, the original amount 1000, which the VAT will be 200. Each one is calculated and printed automatically, all thanks to the function that we wrote at the beginning. Now let's just make sure we get all this correct. Put that in pounds again. That's the F string there, remember to write that down. As we see, Python's really handy because it colour codes it all for you, makes it really easy for you all to follow. It's a very handy tool. As we see here, I'm having a few mistakes. You might get it better than me, but I'm not a very good typer. You might be. Let's just remove that 2 there. That shouldn't be there. Fix this up a wee bit, make it look all nice. Now if I play this, it's working perfectly, as we see. Now we'll just double check to see if this is working. So let's go and change one of the amounts. So instead of 1,000, we'll make it 1,500. Now if I play this, we see the VAT is also changed, which is great. So it shows that it's working. And we'll change the VAT rate just for the fun of it. Change the VAT rate, you see it's up £500. So that's quite interesting. Quite a cool wee tool to use. So there we go. Built a fully working VAT calculator using Python. And you've done it using functions, loops, lists, and formatted printing, all wrapped around a real-world finance problem. And that brings us to the end of task 6 and the end of your portfolio. If you've completed all the tasks up to this point, that's very impressive, and you've learned to code, you've applied it to accounting, and you've built your confidence step by step. You've worked through real logic, solved practical problems, and shown you can handle financial tasks using Python. That puts you in a fantastic position going forward. Whether you're continuing your studies or heading into the workplace, or even building more automation for yourself, or just doing it for the fun of it, which is what I think. I love this. It's great fun. So from me to you, congratulations. You've absolutely smashed it. Thanks for following along. And as always, stay curious, keep learning, and I'll see you at the top.